Service dogs are partners through life. Part 1. Types of service dogs.
I'm Adria Ballard. We are Dog Training Elite. My parents are actually the owners and operators and kind of founders of the Denver area. So the definition of a service dog is a dog who is consistently task trained to do something for somebody's documentable disability. So for instance, I myself have non-epileptic seizures, and as you can see right now, he's telling me that I'm not feeling great right now. But I think very much. I appreciate it. There are 4 kind of categories, so to speak, that we really focus on. But my thing is that service dogs can do pretty much anything and everything you want them to. But the 4 main ones that we focus on are psychiatric PTSD, mobility, personalized assistance canine, as well as scent dogs. So psychiatric PTSD can be for pretty much anything, right? Whether that's anxiety, depression, something as small as you pick your nails, right? As long as the dog is targeting that task and that thing, that struggle that you have, that is absolutely considered a service dog. The second one is mobility, so being able to help pick things up off the ground for people, grab things, open doors, turn on light switches, go grab medication. Like, that's a really big deal for a lot of the people that we work with as well. Personalized assistance canine, we actually used to call it the personalized autism canine, but we changed it because yes, we do work with a lot of people with autism, and it is a very big passion of ours, kids, adults, like all sorts of different people and things, but we also work with people with things like dissociative identity disorder, or they have the brain of a child, like different kind of things like that, where we're teaching the dog how to, yes, pay attention to their person, but somebody else is over top of that. So there's a really specific way that we kind of make that dynamic in the family work. And then the fourth one is scent, which is the one that's definitely very near and dear to my heart. But we can teach scent for heart rate, blood pressure, seizures, diabetes, right? Dissociative identity disorder, being able to know when that person is going to switch. And so we can do pretty much everything. But we always focus, for scent specifically, we always focus on scent first before we start any basic obedience, because we want to teach something called civil disobedience. And this goes for any service dogs, but especially our scent dogs, because it can oftentimes be a matter of life and death for them to be able to alert to their people. But civil disobedience is saying, okay, yes, you put me in this sit, this down, this whatever, but you need me more in this moment, and to understand when to break a command in that moment. And that's one of the biggest things we teach with any service dog, to say, yes, you put me somewhere, but what you need is more important in this moment, as long as it doesn't put the dog's life in danger. Heel. Rising front, sit, 12, sit, good. Place, sit, rising down, all the way, rising down, thank you, here, heel, sit, watch me, yes, go, boy!
Part 2. Guide dogs for the blind.
My name is Dawn Brady. I am a Beyond Vision skills trainer at the Center for People with Disabilities. And so what that means is I work with individuals who are blind or visually impaired. Moved to Colorado in 2006 and lost the residual of my sight the first couple of months we were here. And so then I applied for a dog at the Seeing Eye and ended up there in 2007, where I got my first guide dog. So training with a guide dog is very intense. Back in 2007, it didn't matter if you were there for your first guide dog or your 10th. Everybody trained for 28 days on campus. So the Seeing Eye is the largest and oldest guide dog school in New Jersey. However, there are several, not Seeing Eye. There is only one Seeing Eye. There are guide dog schools, such as Guide Dogs for the Blind. In the beginning, you go on campus. These are nonprofit organizations, and these dogs and the training are of no cost to the individual who's applying. They put you up in their dorm-like setting, and your flight, your stay, your food, everything that you need is free. The dog, which is valued today at $75,000, is free to you of charge. A lot of these schools offer financial assistance for veterinary care for your dog for the life of the dog.
I'm Betty White, and these are Seeing Eye puppy raisers, and the puppies that they love and teach and live with for about a year. Each of these puppies is born with a very special purpose, to be the eyes and the best friend for a blind person.
When these guide dogs are trained, they're trained within, so like the Seeing Eye, it would be Morristown, New Jersey. So they're on buses, they're in and out of restaurants, they're trained, well trained in those areas. 4 to 6 months is their training with their instructor. And then a handler is what I'm considered a handler. And at that time, you would train for a month with that dog in addition to their training that they had. These dogs are born and bred to work. They're working dogs. And I've had a lot of people, that's so cruel what you're asking. No, it's not. They're born and bred. When you get the right dog, you say harness up, and they stick their head, they put their head through that harness. That is that dog saying, I know what my job is. I love doing my job for you, and I want to do this with you. They have a purpose. And some of these guys, as you can imagine, it's a stressful thing that we ask them to do. Some of them, it breaks them. But again, I've had by far, 2 of my best dogs. The one was the first one from the Seeing Eye. Hannah was a black cross. She was a 50-50 lab golden mix. That dog, we were walking 6 miles a day. And she would make sure that I got her out twice a day. And back then we lived over by McIntosh. She was what they consider a route traveler. So we would walk McIntosh 3.25 miles twice a day. And we would do it backwards, and then in the afternoon, the other way.
She kept you in shape.
I was in good shape then. I loved it. But the thing with her was from doing 6 miles, she developed hip dysplasia. So we only worked 4 years together in the field. I got to keep her until she passed at the age, of 12 and a half. And that was my husband's girlfriend. But when you get a dog that is a guide dog, that bond is unbreakable. And it is very important that the dog bond to the handler, because these guys, as I mentioned, it's a very serious job, what we ask them to do for us. And we want them to love us and to love what they do for us, because they don't get a paycheck, right? They do this because it's in their blood. As that born is cementing, a lot of people ask me, does your family get to interact with the dog? Not in the beginning, because that bond needs to be to me, no one else. I relieve the dog, I feed the dog, I groom the dog, I do everything for the dog, because that is forming that bond. I am slow as a snail with this cane. When I have a dog and people see me traveling with the dog, they're like, I couldn't believe how you whizzed past us, because they see me with the cane. And I'm slow. But when I get that dog, it's like, wow. It's night and day. It is such an independence. It is such an empowerment. I've been doing this since 2007 with guide dogs. And I think that the public really doesn't know that when you see a guide dog, and their handler. Do not approach them with your animal. Don't let your leash go so that your dog can come say hi to my dog, because these are working dogs and their focus needs to be on their handler. And if they are interacting with your dog, they're not doing their job. And people ask me all the time, is this all they do is work? No. I play with my dogs. That's a part of our bonding. I have jolly eggs, I have Kongs, I have bones, I have, you name it, we have it.
Because people say, are they on the harness in your house? No. No, that harness comes off when we're not working. No, they're a dog in my house.